African American Marriage Counseling. I thank you all for joining me. We are in this great program, Romance and Finance, and I was putting this together. I said, who would you call if you were trying to make an investment? And I remember the last person I called when I was trying to make an investment, Cassandra Cummings, and it paid off. Like I was thinking all these things like airline stock and all this. She said, no, AMC. So I invested in AMC, all the money I had at that moment, and wow, it's paid off. But beyond that, an amazing person, Black Enterprise, Essence, BuzzFeed, Wall Street Journal, you name it. She's a highly sought after speaker. She gives great investment tips, and she's becoming a phenomenal friend. And I'm just really happy to have the queen of capital who's going to talk to us about some things investment, all things money. So she's also going to give us some tips and strategies. She's the founder of Stocks and Stilettos. How many women, because I can't say this, it rolls off my lips wrong, do you have in Stocks and Stilettos?
We have a little over 100,000 Black women.
That is amazing. You know how many families that is dramatically going to change? And this is why I chose her, because she's just very involved in the community and phenomenal. And without further ado, how are you today?
I'm well. Thanks for asking. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're out in California, so thanks for getting up early, getting yourself lovely.
Sure, no problem.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Miss Cassandra Cummings.
Well, I was raised in Oakland, California, went to USC down in Los Angeles, and started my career in financial services with an accounting firm, and then went on to do financial advisement for some larger Fortune 500 companies such as AIG and Merrill Lynch. And then ventured out on my own and started my own wealth management firm where I'm an investment advisor representative. And there was still a void missing, even though I had like my Series 7, 663 and so forth. I still felt like I needed to use what I knew to help my people. And in particular, women, Black women, because of the statistic that they had in which they pale in comparison to their counterparts when it comes to net worth. And so I started this online community by way of a suggestion from a friend called the Stocks and Stilettos Society. So I had to have something really cute and catchy that would draw women in that looked like me. And so far, it's been a big hit for the last 5 years.
I love the purpose of that, because you affect so many. I mean, you affect a village, really, when you talk about Black women. You know, you could invest in anything, but if you invest in a woman, my God, the reach. But I got to ask you, how do you walk away?
So I could no longer play small. And I had to take my message to the masses. And that's what I decided to do. Was it easy? Absolutely not. But it was very necessary.
Recording in progress.
So everybody thought you were crazy, I'm sure.
No, absolutely not. I think that people that know me very well know that I'm a very tactical person and I take calculated risk. So I'm very fortunate to have good people behind me, rooting me on and supporting me. And that's why I'm able to do what I do now.
Cool. That's great. So I want us to talk now about couples and coins,
Yeah. Well, Couples and Coins was a class that I had a couple of years ago. And it was specifically to help couples with finances, because we know the divorce rate is so high, 51% now. And a lot of reasons why couples have a breakdown in communication is because of money issues. So Couples and Coins was something that came about to really help strengthen Black families around finance. And, with Couples and Coins, it can actually help to move couples further along when they don't have pressures from lack of money or differing of opinions when it comes to money. And so it was really geared towards helping couples come together and have some, concurrent goals around money.
It's interesting that you say that because I deal with that a lot. So finance is the number one reason couples don't make it. And money, people don't realize, is exceptionally emotional.
Very.
And lack of money is even more emotional. So you have to have a strategy. So when you look at investors, I always think, and I was preparing for this, I says beginners, advanced. Is there really a difference, and what's the strategy? How do you respond to that?
Well, it depends again on what the couples want to do. So when we have a man that wants, the man in the relationship, he wants to move this way. A woman in the relationship, she wants to be a little bit more conservative, because that's typically what we find. The man wants to take more risk. He wants to do some experiential type things with the money, and the wife wants the security. So she's a little bit more risk adverse. So we try to have a meeting of the minds where they come together and decide on something.
Kind of get on the same page.
Yeah. Or at least allow some flexibility on both sides. And so maybe the woman has to be open to, okay, maybe there's a deadline, maybe there's some benchmarks that have to be hit for her to have confidence in his ability to make decisions around some of these financial goals that they're working towards.
I know one time I heard you in an interview, and you were talking about maybe more advanced, maybe beginners need it too. You were talking about a money team.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, I think this is applicable not only to just couples, but to just people in general, of having a money team and really building out your money team as you grow, because the more you earn, the more you learn. And so with that, you have to start to have maybe a CPA on your money team. You need to have an attorney. You may need to have a financial advisor. So, there are a number of roles that could come into play, positions that come into play that really help you grow your net worth and get you to your financial objectives. And so a money team is very important, and you can add people as your capital increases, as your net worth increases, things like that.
So I have to ask you this question, because we sometimes tend to think we could do it ourselves, or we got an uncle or a little Pookie's going to do it for us. Money, that stuff costs. It costs to have a CPA on your team. It costs to have that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can add them as you go along, because a lot of times what we found in financial services today is that you can actually speak with a financial advisor at a bank. It comes with one of your services for being an account holder at one of the larger banks. They even have them at credit unions. And then maybe you don't start with a CPA. Maybe you start with an EA, an enrolled agent, someone who prepares your taxes for you. And then maybe, you can go through some sort of pro bono or legal clinic if you have questions around estate planning, how to protect assets, trust, wills, things like that. So there are people that do that work where you can tap into their knowledge at little to no cost. So you've got to just be a little bit more resourceful if you don't have the funds outright to afford some of the more expensive expertise, if you will.
I haven't thought about it that way, but kind of saying, hey, you got to know when to get professional help. What your level is depends on your financial situation. But if you start off right, you're much more likely to finish right. I think I hear you say. So a lot of people, I recently was looking at this book on day trading. What do you think about day trading?
I think day trading is a very plausible. It's a very plausible way to make money in the stock market. But I think the misconception is that it's easy, and it's not. So I think people have glamorized it. I think people don't necessarily discuss their losses. People always highlight their wins, and day traders lose. And so day trading is all about getting in and out of a transaction within the same day. And sometimes there are capital requirements that are necessary, upwards of 25,000 for you to be able to day trade. But believe it or not, day traders, they have studied just like anything else, right? You've studied to be in your line of profession. I've studied to be in my line of profession. Day traders, they study, they take classes, they get mentoring as well to be day traders. So if that's something that people want to do, this, just know you're going to have to put in the work.
Okay, like everything else.
Yeah.
So diversifying one's portfolio.
Diversification is key. I mean, I think it allows